All right, there we. Everyone got the file? Can you see the text A?
I can.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to start. James, since you've been absent, I want to pick on you to read this. Well, we'll ask you to translate it since you worked the wrong file. But can you read it for us? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I've highlighted.
Polo egar elusontai kai erusi ego emi ho Christos.
Okay, very good. You read better than I do, so all right. So maybe you ought to be teaching the class. Okay. All right. Poloi gar is what, everybody? Help us out. Somebody help us.
For many.
For many.
Have come.
And our word poly, prefix poly in English comes from that poloi, doesn't it? Polus, okay, very good. For many what?
Have come.
Is that have come, past, or is that future?
Future. Will come.
Okay. It's future. Okay,
Yes,
here it is. And so we got the future down here, say, future passive. All right, very good. Everyone see that? And so we got a sontai. All right. For many. No, that is aorist. Okay. No, it isn't. No, that's okay. It's just fine. It is a plural future indicative. Okay. Third person plural. Future indicative. Tai erusi is what? What is erusi?
Will say.
Okay.
And will say.
Okay, that's from a word that's, remember, Lego has all of those, it's irregular and has all of those forms that are different, okay, for each one. Let's go look at it just a minute. Let's see here. Here's the word it's from, and that'll be on page 132, okay? Page 132. No, I don't have it on here, okay? IRO, it's IRO. Yeah. I had this all planned out and then I messed up. There it is. That's our word. It's an almost obsolete form of, and the future is arrow. This is iro. It's to say or speak. But it goes with Lego and iPhone. Remember all those different forms they have there? There's your perfect form. That's molten. Now it's listed in Thayer, but it lists this word and then it refers you over to iPhone. That's what it refers you to. That L and Scott give it back in the old classical to say, speak, or tell. Okay. And of course, it's to say or speak according to Moulton, Harold Moulton's lexicon. And the root is a digamma epsilon rho. Okay. That's the root on it. Okay. Any questions? All right, let's go back now to our file. Okay. Ego eimi ho Christos. So what do you have there?
I am the Christ.
Now, what about I am? Is there anything important about it?
It's emphatic.
It's emphatic. That's correct. Ego eimi is doubled up. See, eimi already has an I in it. So it's emphatic. I am the Christ. So here's somebody that's many going to come and say, I am the Christ. I am the Christ. See, emphatic. Of course, anybody that would claim that would automatically be a liar, wouldn't they? Okay. All right. Okay. So any questions? Everybody okay with that? All right. Let's pick on, let's see. Let me get, Who all is here? Chris, you're here, so can I have you do that?
Sure. Luke and I are here, and I'll do that one.
Well, let's let Luke do that. That's a short one.
All
Let
right,
him do
Luke,
that.
it's yours.
And then I'll let you do the next one. Okay, Dad, I'll give you the harder part, okay?
Kai to Te. I'll just pass on that.
Go ahead, try it.
Paloi.
How about just try it?
Scando.
Scandal.
Scandalisa Nantai.
Okay, let's do it now. See, we got every vowel has a syllable. There's one syllable, there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 syllables of diphthong. Scon, and so you separate your two. Okay, you got vowels here, and you got what are these called? These other letters, consonants. So you got two consonants here. So you scon, dal, da, li, lis, scandalis, they, son, ta. Scandalis, they, son, ta. See? And just what you do is you say scandalis, they, son, ta. Scandalis, they, son, ta, and then repeat it. And then get faster and faster, scandalis, they, son, ta. And you got it. Does that help? Right,
Yes.
I'm sorry, but I just wanted to show you how to do that. Okay, go ahead. It's the last word, if you will, there.
Many. Paloi.
Poloi. Very good. Okay, so kai pote tote is what?
And then many will fall away.
Okay, okay. And that would be true. And it's the word for scandal, isn't it? Our English word scandal comes from it. Shall be caused to fall, or caused to stumble, or caused to fall away. All right, very good. Okay, any questions? All right, let's try over here, Dad. Chris?
All right. Poloi, pseudo prophetai, eger thesontai, kai polan es susi palus.
Okay, you're breaking it down right. Okay, go ahead. You're doing fine.
I've got poloi is many, and then pseudo is false prophetai. So many false prophets will arise. They will arise, and they will lead astray many people.
And you can put the word people in italics there, but many people. Okay, not leading astray sheep or goats, are they? Okay.
Right.
All
Maybe them too. I don't know.
Okay. So many false prophets shall come, shall arise, and shall say, okay. All right. So Kai here didn't have an accent mark. Now, this is from Matthew 24:5, in case you're wondering, and Matthew 24:11. I think 5 was about right in here somewhere, ended in 11, began here. Okay. All right. Any questions anybody's got? Now, who all do we have here that wants to read? Thomas, you don't want to read, do you?
I can read, but I will not. I can't translate like everybody else does.
Okay, if you don't try to read it, go ahead.
How far?
Well, let's see. Let's take it down to the period down there. Okay. You don't need to read the English translation there, but go ahead.
That's the easy part. Autos, so thesentai os, eki, upomonen, esto, telos.
Okay. Hutos is what? Everybody help us out.
He.
It's what?
Here, he put he, but this he. We would probably put he, but this.
This one. Okay. And you could translate it he, but it's this one, literally. Okay. This one what?
Shall be saved.
Shall be saved. All right. And sozo could be saved or healed, isn't it? But it's saved here. Hos is and now he doesn't. He tells us what it means because we haven't had that form of a pronoun, I don't think yet. My memory's right. We hadn't covered that yet. I think it's 2 or 3 lessons away. All right, relative pronouns. I'd have to look at it, but I think there's 2 or 3 lessons ahead of us. Maybe 4 or 5 lessons. Okay. I don't think we've covered him yet. Okay. But that's why he translates it for you as who. It's a relative pronoun. Okay, we've had that. And what's that?
He has
He has what? Hupomonain.
patience.
Patience. That's patience with things, isn't it? As we talked about last week. And eis to telos.
Unto the end.
Unto the end. All right, now a telescope looks at the end. See, telephone goes to the end of the line, and telos is the end. Okay. Any questions? All right. Very good. So this one shall be saved who has, and that would go this one shall be saved. Which one? The one who has patience unto the end. All right. All right. Very good. Okay. Let's try here. And this is a long reading here for us. Are we back to Jim?
I can do it, Marion, if you want.
Who's talking?
Shane.
Shane. Go ahead, Shane. Do that, please.
Kai Carithestai tuto to evangelion in hole te okumine eis materion kai exai to telos. And this gospel will have been preached in the whole world, unto as something as unto a witness and something to the end. So
Okay. All right. That's from echo. That's a form of echo. Oh, no, it's not. Okay. To the end. All right. That's from Hako. We'll look at that word in just a minute. Okay. Page 132. Let's go to page 132. This file. Go to. There it is. Here's our word. That's the word we're looking at. That's the word we're looking here. And so this is to have come or to have arrived or to be present. Okay. That's that word. All right. That's this word right here. All right. And so this is what, go ahead and conjugate it for me, somebody. Thesatai. Okay. Is that spelled wrong?
I wonder about the epsilon that's there.
Yeah, I think that's backwards. I think those letters are transposed. I'm going to look at them. Okay. Well, they said, yep, that's spelled wrong. That's better. Thesatai ending. You got a thesatai ending. And that goes over here to this one. Thesatai. That's your ending right there. Come on, baby. There it is. That's our ending there. So that's what?
future passive indicative third person singular.
Yep. Yes, that's what it is. Okay. Everyone got that? That mess everybody up, that transposed letters in there. All right. I'll save that so I don't forget it. All right. Okay. And shall be preached. The gospel shall be preached, or shall be preached.
And
Yeah.
this gospel.
This the gospel, or this gospel, and this gospel shall be preached. All right. Pretty emphatic though. And so we have the preaching of the gospel. Where is it going to be preached?
The whole world or whole order.
Okay. This is a different word for world. This is oikomene, oikumene. And so it's from oikos, which is a house, and mene is to abide. So this is the inhabited world, is what that means. So we have the words cosmos, and we have the word gay. So we have two words here for world or earth, and they get a little bit different meaning for them. I don't have diacritical markers on them, but those are my two words I'm talking about. All right. So this would be this is the world, and this is the earth. All right. So that's our two other words, and oikomene. And sometimes we'll have them used together. And so my theory is, if the Holy Spirit used different words, he meant for us to make the distinction. That's the position I hold. And so we have here the inhabited world. That means that they didn't go and preach to Antarctica. Does that make sense? Nobody went to Antarctica because no one was living there. I'm assuming there wasn't anybody living there at that time. And there weren't any Eskimos down there or anything. Any questions? Unto or for, with a view to, a what?
Witness.
A testimony or witness. Also what?
And has unto the end. Has the end.
Okay.
And as the end, and the end has arrived. Or
Okay. And so it's arrived until uneven until the arrival of the end, see.
arrival.
All right. Okay, so the gospel was only preached. If this is AD 70, before AD 70, the gospel was preached in the whole world. Okay. All right. Or the inhabited world, say. All right. All right. Any questions? I'm going to go down to here. Who read last? Shane, did you read last?
Yes.
Okay. So we're back to James. Is that right, James?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Go ahead, if you would, please.
Diedatus, eclectus, kolobo theisontai, hi hemerai, ekenai.
Okay. So help us out, everybody. Diedatus is what?
Through but, or but through.
But okay. Could be on account of, let's see. Okay. Through on account of the what? Eclectus. What's the elect? It didn't sound like the English word.
The elect, or the elect.
Account of the elect, because of the elect, see. What shall happen? Kolo bolo othe sometime.
Shall be cut short.
Okay, shall be cut short. What shall be cut short?
In those days.
The days, which ones?
Those days.
Those. This is the distant, say. So up here, let me find it. Hutos. Hutos is a near object, this, and ekinos is the distant object, that. And so it's plural, so it'd be those days. If it were plural for hutos, it would be these days. This would be those days. Everyone see that? All right. Any questions? So I'm going to cut short those days for the sake of the elect. All right. All right. Now then. Well, this is a long reading. I don't know if I want to put that on. I'm going to put that on Dad. Okay. Instead of Luke. All right.
Okay.
right.
We'll send it. Oh, well, in heavens. Mark it. Okay,
Sorry, Dad.
that's all right. Eutheos, de meta, tos, hemeros, ekainos, ho, heleos, skotise, etai, kai, oi, uranoi, saluthe, santai, kai, tote, phonesetai, to, semerion, tu, wiu, tu, anthropu, in, urano.
Okay. You pronounced that Russian word wrong. Oh, that wasn't Russian. I'm so sorry. Okay, go ahead. You think?
I think that eutheos,
Go ahead.
immediately
Immediately.
is what I have.
And
I
then, of
have-
course, day is what?
But, and that's post positive, so I put but immediately,
Okay.
and I put with, but we could put account of
Meta could be in the midst of, too. Okay.
in the
With
midst
the
of.
accusative, it could be after
After, okay.
those days.
Uh-huh. It says, yeah, that's great. Tos, Samaros, is the days, those, Ekinos, those of those, the sun will be darkened, and the heavens will be shaken, and then will appear the signs of the Son of, or the Son of Man in heaven.
In heaven. Okay. Okay. Everyone like that translation?
Yes.
See, we talked about the solar system being heliocentric. And that's from this word for the sun. Okay, helios. Helios. Okay. Any comments or questions?
Yeah, there was a comment that for meta, after would be a good translation, possibly. In this context, what is better? Is it with or in the midst of or after? What do you think fits better with that? Would it be but immediately after?
Notice the file down here. All right.
Yes.
That's your pronouns. I want to go up to.
I just want to sharpen it because I think after is also really nice. It sounds good there, but I wonder what is
Here are the
best.
rules for meta. Okay. Now it can take the if you look here, it's found 469 times. That's a bunch. And the root meaning is in the midst of. All right. And so it can be. I thought I had this with this is the accusative and genitive. We got the genitive case and the accusative case. So with the accusative, it's after, see. All right. Let's go over and see what we had. Did we have the accusative or we have genitive? All right. And so what we have here. And after, tos hemeros is accusative, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So that means we go back over here to this, and it's after.
So, but immediately after. Well, that
Yeah.
sounds good.
And for genitive, it could be after, but it's with the genitive, and after with the accusative. Say, so it'd be with, right?
Thank you.
So you have to look at what case it's with, what case it has with it. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Well,
You think he's still discussing the destruction of Jerusalem?
Well, what verse is he on here?
I think he is. I don't think it's can't be referring to the second coming, but that's my.
Well, I take the first 34 verses, I think, to be the destruction of Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I had a note in my information here of what verses those were, but I can't find it right now. I was looking for it. They're in Matthew 24. All of this is, I believe.
Yes.
All right.
I've understood that the phrases "the sun will be darkened and the heavens will be shaken" is figurative language we find in the Old Testament as well, representing a kingdom that's fallen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's certainly possible, because when you look at the sun darkened, you can go all the way back to the vision that, or the dream, not a vision, a dream that Joseph had, the sun, moon, and stars. And the sun was interpreted to be his father, and the star, the moon, would be his mother. Although his mother was dead at that time, Leah was taking the place of his mother. Okay, she was taking care of him. So, and of course, that's the interpretation. Jacob interpreted it that way, didn't he? And the stars would be his brothers. Okay. Any other questions? I agree with you. I think that's what it is. Anybody else got a thought on that?
Well, there's a friend of mine who keeps on insisting it's referring to that part there. And before that you highlighted, it's referring to the crucifixion of Jesus. And I keep on trying to tell this person that it says immediately after those days, and he was just referring to the destruction of Jerusalem, and so he's still discussing that.
Yeah.
So I just don't see how it could be referring to the crucifixion.
I think the word "those" here ties it with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's those days up here that it's still continuing it. All right. All right. Now, there's some that they claim that's a literal, and that the darkness that occurred at his death on the cross, and that. But I don't think this is what this is talking about at all. All right. I think it's destruction of Jerusalem. Okay. All right. Any other questions? All right. Okay. We're getting back to you here, Luke. Can you do that I've highlighted?
Absolutely. Kai, Fugai,
Fulai,
Tans, Grains,
Gaze,
Gace, Havantai, Ton, Huyon, Tu, Anthropu, Kai, Tote, Kosantai.
Okay. Kai Hai Fulai.
And the tribe.
Tribes.
And the tribes
of the Gaze,
and the tribes of the
Earth,
and the tribes of the earth.
See, we get a word geology. The geo is from this right here for the earth. Okay. The tribes of the earth shall what?
they shall what?
They shall see the Son of Man, and then will mourn.
And so they'll mourn, right? And so that's like beating yourself, okay? Right. Mourning. Okay. Okay. The tribes of the earth, and that tribes could be nations or peoples. Okay. Any questions about that? All right. We've only gone 30 minutes. Okay. So I guess I could sneak over and look at those words a minute. Let's go over there and look at There's another point I wanted to make on, let's go to page 268. Go to, here's Saluo, and this is a motion produced by winds or waves agitated or shaking or tottering. Okay, so it's going to be like tottering. So when things get kind of shaky, just think of it that way. All right. Any questions or comments there? All right. Now, let's go over and look at the next lesson just a bit. Look at it. This is kind of important. Okay. We have what's called principal parts. And what we're going to be looking at is the principal parts, and we have the 6 principal parts. There's the present tense, future tense, aorist, perfect, perfect middle, all right, and aorist passive. All right. All right. Any questions? Or your 6 principal parts. Now, when we get to this, this is going to get us, well, let's spend maybe 3 weeks on this, okay? And so this will get us, we have a table down here, and notice these forms here. Principal parts of verbs which are irregular. Now, what I've already done for you, I want you to be aware of this. In this file right here, labeled right here, Greek lexicon and grammar notes, I've already put all of these in that file. All right, I've labeled them, the ones that are irregular. So all of these verbs here are irregular, and they've been labeled in your file. Is that clear? So if you and have doubts about it, you can check it. But what you can do is, if you go through these and check them and see if they're in that file, if you find one that's not in that file, let me know and I'll correct it. But I'm pretty sure I went through there. I know I went through it and did it. I think I got all of them entered. But they show the forms we have. And so let's take Lego, for example. Lego. Remember, it has all these forms. We have arrow, that's your future. iPhone, that's your aorist, and there's your perfect. All those different forms it has. And so this is future. It's your future column. Future, aorist, perfect. All right. And so Lego has all those different forms. So it's irregular. All right. And these are the other words that I had these Montano. I talked about this earlier. I mentioned that I had done this Montano. That's to learn. Now see the different forms over here? That's your perfect right there. And horao, that's the form we saw in this lesson tonight. And I don't. And Ido is and again, they're really from different words is what they are. Remember we talked about that. Probably different city states, different dialects, and each one contributed a different word to the idea of seeing. And that's probably what happened, best we can tell. All right. So this has the list of all of those words. All right. Now, what you do is if you would memorize all of these, you'd have it down. You could just look at them. All right. That's a bunch. But that's all your irregular ones. The rest of them follow the basic forms. You can just go with the rules with the rest of them. These are the only ones that are oddballs. Not very many. Now, these aren't the only Greek words that are oddballs. So I call them oddballs. They're irregular. These are the ones that are irregular that are in the New Testament. All right. So there's the ones that are in the New Testament. They're irregular. Are there questions? That might help you to see what's going on here. And we'll be trying to look at these. We'll spend a little time on them. And exercise 1, and we have a text down here. We'll look at that. And of course, this is a review. What are the 6 forms, principal parts, and so forth. All right. Now let's go back up and let's do this. We have our principal parts. We have 6 principal parts. We'll talk about that next week. Now then, I want to ask, are there any questions? Anything that we've covered in the past that you want me to go back over a bit?
I looked up my notes on Matthew 24 about what I believe is figurative language. And Isaiah 13:10 describes the fall of Babylon, saying, "The stars of heaven shall not give their light, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not cause its light to shine." And the fall of Idumea is found in Isaiah 34:4 and 5. And it mentions also all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. And so those were figurative terms used in the Old Testament to describe a fall of a nation. So I think if we applied that to Matthew 24, we would see what nation is about to fall.
Well, that makes perfect good sense too, because he's talking to Jews, isn't he?
Yes.
And that they know their scriptures and that kind of language. I agree with you. Anybody disagree? I think you're right, spot on. That's what I think. And I believe that's a good way to reason and follow, because you're using the type of language that was used by the Jews, and Jesus is a Jew, and he's speaking to Jews. So they would naturally look at their scripture and see how that language is used. Okay. Any other questions? Let me go through a couple of things here. And we have, when we look here, this word for akuo is a little bit emphatic. We talked about that last week. There's akuo, but then we have ace akuo. And so that's emphatic. And we made that point last week. We also talked about hupomone, and we talked about it. And I want to, since it's in this text, I'm going to go over to it and spend a couple of minutes on that. And we'll go to upsilon. Well, I know what's happening. I was trying to hit cancel, is what I was trying to hit. Hupomone. Now here's hupomone, and hupomeno is the verb form. So this is a compound word. The verb is hupo and meno. Meno is to dwell or abide. So it's steadfastness. And what we have is we have another word that goes with it. This is out of Trench's Synonyms of the New Testament. And he tells us that macrothumia is, and this is another word for like steadfastness, refers to patience with respect to persons. Hupomone is with respect to things. There's your difference. Let's go up to macrothumia and see it here. So we see that the differences in the words. Moo. Okay. There it is. There's the verb form of it, and there's your noun form. That's our word here. So right here, I have a little more text on from this right here. And he talks about patience, endurance, constancy. So notice it's patience also. But this is right down here, Trench tells us, instead of preferred long suffering, a long holding out of the mind before it gives way to action or to passion, generally passion, or the Pauline bearing of one another in love. Anger is usually, but not universally, a passion that is repressed. Macrothumia, and that's this word again, macrothumia. It refers to patient respect to persons and hupomone with respect to things. So whenever somebody's being a pain in the neck, I exercise macrothumia or verb form macrothumeo. And think of your thymus gland and passions that go with it, okay? And right here, hupomone is my car gives me trouble, or something happens, like I had an ice storm, broke a bunch of my trees or something like that. And so that happens. And that's a thing rather than a person. So we distinguish between the two. We need to exercise both. All right. Now, again, as I've shown you before, here's your verb. There's a noun that goes with it from the same root. Here's our noun. And here is an osing. Now, that's an adverb. The os is an adverb of manner. It's like our ly ending in English. So that's a verb, a noun, and an adverb. Adverbial form. Are there questions? All right. Do we have everybody in the class that's in the flood class? All right. I'm going to go ahead and quit if we don't have any more questions. All right. Okay. So we'll start with that next lesson next week. And that will be principal parts. Okay. And so be sure and study that one, and that'll help you a bunch here, hopefully. All right.